Apparently, there's some whack-ass rumor going around that Avengers 4 is going to be Secret Invasion and not part 2 of the Thanos story? We got to talk about this. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. Guys, I've been seeing a lot of speculation out there on the interwebs, which, to be quite frankly, are a horrible place, but I've been hearing a lot of speculation about the fact that Avengers 4 may well be Secret Invasion, and that might be the direction that they want to go with that movie. Now, look, there have been some very popular sources that have been talking about this as a possibility, and there have been kind of a couple of different things to point towards that I think pretty much disprove this, and I'm going to go over them at this video. I basically have a big problem with this as a concept. As a concept, to me, it doesn't really make sense. So real quick, I'll talk about Secret Invasion. If you've seen the Skrulls video that I did, I was pretty hype on it. I love the Skrulls. Secret Invasion is one of my favorite crossovers ever. Very, very cool. Basically, shape-shifting aliens come down, infiltrate Earth. They replace some of our heroes. You don't know who to trust. It's espionage, it's craziness, escalates in a big, crazy-ass fight. Very, very cool, okay? Now, Captain Marvel was announced to be taking place in the 90s. It's a film that takes place between the Infinity War movies, Avengers 3 and Avengers 4, and it is dealing with the Kree and the Skrull. Okay, very, very cool, right? So a lot of people have pointed to this as a catalyst, a proposed catalyst for events that will happen in Avengers 4. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think that it would be pretty smart to establish the Kree and to establish the Skrull in that kind of a movie. And by the way, to establish Captain Marvel, who really won't be in the first Infinity War. At least that's what they are reporting and that's what they're saying out of Marvel Studios. So it is probably a very good idea to have that be a movie in between these two movies. And I understand that they are setting things up for Infinity War, the Kree and the Skrull. Here is my problem. It doesn't make any sense to set Thanos up as a big bad in Infinity War and then to have a part 2 completely ignore that, okay? I think what is happening is they are blending the Jonathan Hickman story of Infinity with both Thanos Quest and Infinity Gauntlet. They had that big compendium on the table sitting next to Avengers Disassembled in that promotional video from way back when that was super hype with Tom Holland, with Chris Pratt, and with Robert Downey Jr., okay? So what I think they are doing, and I point to the Black Order and the Children of Thanos as a part of this, is I think they are setting up a blend of those stories in which Thanos will first take the gauntlet, retreat to a space in the universe with Hela, and sit there and start to reshape the universe, and you will blend that with the story in Jonathan Hickman's Infinity, in which the Kree and the Skrulls and the armies of humanity all have to form a unit and send an armada to fight these things called the Builders, okay? This was this big, crazy event that was happening in the Time Runs Out storyline, and it was really, really interesting, to be honest with you. It was like Star Wars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There were ships. I'll put up some images here. It was super hype. So I think what they are going to do is use Captain Marvel as a way to launch into the Kree and the Skrull. And what will happen is Avengers Infinity War will see the destruction of a lot of Earth. It will see the devastation of the current set of Avengers, and I think a lot of them are going to die, okay? Now, the Avengers that are left, I believe, are going to talk to Nick Fury, who of course was the catalyst for all of these movies. And he will, I shouldn't say catalyst, he was the glue. He was the glue for phase 1, and he was the glue for a lot of this whole shared universe. But they will talk to him, and he will talk about a person he had a previous mission with who has big, powerful allies out in space. That will be Carol Danvers, and that will be probably like maybe the version of the Starjammers and the Kree and the Skrull. And I think that the fact that Thanos has the gauntlet is a big enough deal to unite the Kree and the Skrull put their little petty war aside, and them, along with Earth's mightiest heroes, go after Thanos. So I think you're gonna, like I said, blend the Infinity War with Infinity, and that is your part 2. They've already said, guys, the Russo brothers said coming out of Comic-Con that this movie, Infinity War, is going to have an enormous long runtime because it is part of the culmination of the 22 films. It's this culmination of this whole crazy thing called the MCU. And then the next question, the very next question, was about part 2, and I believe it was Anthony Russo's answer was, well, yeah, because it's kind of the same thing. It's a part 2 to that conclusion, so it has to be epic and it has to be long. You've heard the rumors that the title for Avengers 4 is a spoiler for Infinity War 1, and I'm telling you, it's probably going to be Infinity Gauntlet or something of that nature. It's going to talk about how he does get all the gems. He has the gems. He's ready to rock and roll, and he's out in space trying to reshape reality. That's not good, guys. That's not a good thing. So despite what some people out there are saying about Avengers Infinity War Part 2 or Avengers 4 being Secret Invasion, I just plain don't buy it. I think there's plenty of evidence to the contrary, and I think that they're seeing one side of it and not understanding the overall fabric of the story that they're going to tell. I promise you that it's not going to just be a Secret Invasion. To just leave Thanos behind in one movie after setting him up for 22 is not the way to do it. That doesn't make sense. So I think we're going to get the 6-hour, the 7-hour payoff, which will be both parts of Infinity War, and it's going to be super, super crazy. Now, I do believe that we will get Secret Invasion beyond in Phase 4. Now, they've said that Phase 4 might not even be a phase. I have a couple of different theories about this. Either Phase 4 is entirely Secret Invasion, and instead of having 3 phases that set up for an epic comic book run, they will more or less do one series of films that cover a bunch of different characters and set up Secret Invasion with a culmination film, which would be really, really cool. Or they're no longer doing phases in a set timeline at all, and you will have a situation where Secret Invasion is just one big, long movie that is perhaps set up by little after credit sequences from these other individual films, and it's its own thing. I kind of feel like in order to keep it fresh, Marvel needs to maybe stop doing origins and new characters and stuff like that, and just do crazy events and introduce a ton of characters in each of these events. Like, they can really do some great stuff. They could do a part 2 of Secret Wars, either the original or the second one or the Hickman one. You could do, some version of Time Runs Out with the Illuminati. You could do, Worldbreaker Hulk. You could do all sorts of these amazing storylines in singular movies or in 2-part movies, and then you really don't have to worry about all these individual things and setting up all these things. And I think that would probably be better for them with the contracts and the actors too. So that's really my theory. I think we are going to get Secret Invasion, and don't get me wrong, like, the Skrulls simply being in Captain Marvel, that means they're probably going to be in Infinity War Part 2 or Avengers 4. And yes, that does mean they are setting up Secret Invasion. But I just think you're crazy if you think that's what we're going to get in Avengers 4. That's not it. That's not what they're going to do. And if they do that, I'll eat my hat because I'll consider it a big mistake. By the way, I got a lot of hats, and we'll have to think of which one I want to eat. But anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to do in this video. Kind of put some of those rumors to rest and address this thing that's been blowing up on the internet, because I think it's crazy. But what do you think? Do you think it's crazy? Do you think that there's some evidence out there that supports Secret Invasion as Avengers 4? Please let me know. I'm more than willing to learn. I'm not saying I'm totally right. This is just kind of my thoughts and speculation about it. So please let me know in the comment section. Also, if you have an idea for a future video, something you really want us to cover here at The Den, let me know. We're doing a bunch of coverage for Destiny 2. Justin in the video game department is handling that. We, of course, have the podcast and the website, all sorts of cool stuff here. But if you want something specifically covered here on the YouTube channel, let me know in the comment section. I check all the comments every morning. That is something I do. So hit me up and I'll get back to you either the day you hit the comment or probably the next day in the morning for me. All right, guys, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!